We that like video games love to play masterpieces, right? Well, there are some games that everyone should at least try for some hours, or just finish once in life to have that experience. Of course, no game can please everyone, but I've chosen some games for this list that in my opinion everyone should give a chance at least once in life. So I hope you enjoy. If you enjoyed, leave your like, don't forget to leave your comments too, that helps me a lot. And if you want to see more content like this, leave your comments and like, and also subscribe to the channel. I'm posting videos almost every day here. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that, and let's go to the video. Elden Ring is the definitive Souls-like experience, set in a huge and immersive open world, with a huge lore, challenging bosses, and impressive scenery. The game was developed by From Software and released in 2022 to Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 and PC, and in that year won the Game of the Year award on TGA. If you've never played any Souls-like before, you must know that it's a sort of action RPG, with some specific features, like a bonfire feature, Souls mechanic, there's a sort of money in the game, hard bosses, and much more. And Elden Ring is the biggest one so far, and the best one to start if you've never played any before. In 2024, the game received a great expansion, Shadow of the Erdtree, with over 20 hours of content, with even harder bosses and enemies, with a new map, weapons, and much more. You really must play this game before dying.
Lowly tarnished, playing as a lord, I command thee now.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is an amazing and realistic experience on the American Western of the ending of the 18th century, with an impressive open world and story. The game was developed by Rockstar Games, released in 2018 to Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and later on PC. So far the game didn't get an upgrade to the new generation, but it works better on Series X and One X.
Full of adventures and experiences that you discover naturally.
Hey, hold it right there!
As you move fluidly.
The missions of this game are unique, with an unbelievable character development through the story, and set in one of the most realistic open-world video games I've ever seen. In case you enjoy the experience this game gives you, you can easily spend over 100 hours playing only the single-player mode, trying to get everything the game can give you. But that's kinda hard, but this game deserves it.
Hold up a store, burgle a house, or go loan sharking.
Here for money. Where is it?
Or you can simply go off and explore alone, if you're feeling brave enough. The country...
Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather.
GTA 5 is one of the biggest games ever made, a huge action open world game, and here I would just be talking about the single player mode, that's really good too. But the game also has a multiplayer mode. You can finish the story under 30 hours of gameplay, but believe me, it's going to be much more interesting if you try to do everything. This game has a lot of content that goes beyond the storyline.
Sounding more and more like a snee-eye itch every day.
The game is developed by Rockstar Games and released in 2013. Even got a Game of the Year in that year, and it was released to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. In the next year it was also released on PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC, and now also on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. But Xbox One and PlayStation 4 version got some interesting changes back then, like new features, textures, and even a first-person mode. The story of the game is very good, but it's not a masterpiece like Red Dead Redemption 2, for example. Just the storyline, but actually it was never the GTA style. It's more like a fun and impressive open world game that mixes reality with a lot of sarcasm and smart choices, taking no sides and making an amazing satire of the American world.
We out here gangbanging like it's 91.
The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is an impressive open-world action RPG with plenty of possibilities to choose which path you shall follow and infinite build systems. The game was developed by Bethesda and released in 2011 to PlayStation 3, PC and Xbox 360, but throughout the years this game got a lot of upgrades and new versions, and it's now available on every platform you can imagine. The game is set in a fanciful medieval land, in a first and also third-person camera, but to be honest, the third person is kinda strange in this game. It's better to play in the first-person mode, with all types of creatures, characters, weapons, and possibilities to choose what to do and how to do. The new Elder Scrolls is already announced, but I believe it's going to take a long time to be really released. I'd even say 2027 or even later, but for now, if you didn't play Skyrim, you should. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is an insane action-adventure game developed by Nintendo and released in 1998 to Nintendo 64. The game was a true success and is to this day the video game of the best score in Metacritic, being considered a revolution in video games, with an immersive story, excellent gameplay, and a level design better than the most of the games released to this day. In the game, you control Link, a young knight in a quest to save the Princess Zelda, basically the same thing of almost all Zelda games. The story takes about 30 hours to be finished, and through this time you pass in a lot of different places, different enemies, different puzzles, insane sceneries, and much more. And the game will always give you new tools, making the game be extremely fun to play since the start to the end. So if you've never played this game before and like action-adventure games, just do it. Everyone gotta play it at least once. Super Mario World is the platformer game that gave Nintendo the crown as the king of that generation. The game was developed by Nintendo and released in 1998 to Super Nintendo. The game is a 2D platformer game set in different levels with different possibilities, giving you different ways to proceed or even finish the game, with a lot of secrets and powers, a great soundtrack, and an extremely responsive gameplay and beautiful graphics. I'd say this is probably the most important Mario game of history, and of course this is my favorite one, being a game that's really good to play to this day, so you gotta play it. One of the interesting things about this game is the world itself, giving you a beautiful view from the top of it, using the levels with the freedom to back to the levels you've passed before, so you could explore and try to find the secret way outs. Minecraft is a game released in 2009, developed by Mojang, and a lot of people still plays it, and it's the best-selling game of all time. Some people that didn't play the game may look and think it's kinda childish, simple game, and that can be it if you want to. But if you decide to really learn the complexity of the game, giving you an insane freedom to create the things you want to create, with the most insane thing about this game, that's the redstone system, that's basically a sort of energy in the game, and allows you to create any electric thing you can. What may be hard, but you can do it. And if you really want to see how complex this is, I recommend you to search on the internet for the greatest constructions on Minecraft, with and without redstone. The gameplay is simple. You can walk, swim, use different items, create different items in a fun mechanic, destroy things to get resources, and much more, giving you an infinite game if you really like it. But if you've never played, just try it once. You'll be really surprised.
What's up? Carl is sweet. What's up, sweet? What you want?
GTA San Andreas is the third great 3D GTA release, and the biggest one of that time, and to this day probably the most beloved one. The game has a great story mode, with great characters and an impressive storytelling for its time, but a lot of people back then just played it to have fun, and believe me, this game gives you infinite possibilities. You can customize the character with CJ in a lot of different ways. You can work out, doing it every day you'll be muscular, if you stop you lose weight and eventually become slim, or if you eat a lot you end up being fat. What's really fun, you can customize cars, buy houses, and much more. The game was developed by Rockstar Games and released in 2004 for PlayStation 2, Xbox and PC, but today it's available in all platforms you can imagine. If you've never played it, give it a try, you won't regret. But if you played and never finished, just do it. The story is really immersive and the missions are unique. Each one of them will give you a different experience. Recommended to finish all the big GTAs before of GTA 6. That's surely going to be a masterpiece.
Real important, CJ. You know that.
Half-Life 2 is one of the most important FPS games ever released, being the base for a lot of games that came after, and inspirations or even mods. Counter-Strike, for example, was just a mod of Half-Life.
I apologize, but no harm done. My bullets are the least of
The game was developed by Valve and released in 2004, and is a sequel to the first Half-Life game, obviously, but it's better in all aspects. That's why I put this one here, and not the one itself, but I highly recommend you to play both. They're really good games, impressive gameplay, impressive physics for its time, great graphics, and an insane story and storytelling, being one of the first FPS games with this level of complexity in the story. There are rumors of Half-Life 3, if it's real or not we don't know, but if you've never played these games before, play it. You'll be looking forward to the announcement of the sequel. The Witcher 3 is a huge and complex action RPG game, with a great story mode and even better DLCs, even with an extra game inside the game itself, called Gwen, a very fun card game. The game was developed by CD Projekt Red and released in 2015 to Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC, and in 2022 it got a free upgrade to the new generation, and it's now available on Nintendo Switch too. The game is set in a huge open map, with an amazing freedom to choose what to do and how you want to do, with a lot of different quests, endings, and much more, giving you different ways to deal with the characters, changing their fate. It is indeed that type of game that everyone should play at least once. Despite it has some small problems, it is still one of the best games ever released.
Some fight for glory, justice, or gold. I fight for those I hold dear. I'm Geralt of Rivia, the Witcher.
These were the games, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you think that I should put any other game in this list, just put it in the comments. I'll be reading that. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate your presence here. Subscribe to the channel, videos almost every day. And that's it. Thank you so much. So long.